Hello everybody, Emoji Movie Channel here, and I'm here today to review Escape from Planet Earth. So 2013 wasn't that great of a year for animated films, and this was one of the worst films that came out then. It didn't do that great at the box office and was criticized for being really generic. Apparently this film was rewritten a bunch of times and it doesn't really show, like, at all. This is the kind of movie I like to call a first drafty movie, something that feels like it was written in a day and never looked back on. It feels like they had a clear idea for a story when they started writing, but that just sort of fell apart and then the story just goes insane. It's sort of just like a hodgepodge of ideas, some of which are even really good. I'll admit, this movie does have a few creative concepts that keep it from completely boring. You can tell the pieces were here for it to be a really interesting and fun movie. But this movie has a bad habit of either going nowhere with those ideas or just ruining them. I think the idea of an alien prison break movie from Area 51 is a pretty cool concept, but the prison break part only takes up about a fifth of this movie. For most of the movie, the aliens are just sort of walking and talking and being annoying. There's some stuff going on back on the alien planet, but that stuff is so boring that it makes the main plot look interesting. I'm surprised this was rewritten 17 times because this seems like the stuff you would get rid of in a rewrite. Then we can have time for an actual well thought out prison break. That part is probably the most engaging part of the movie. It has some okay action, I guess, but it's still not that good. But during the first hour or so, it's mostly just the characters talking, like I said. The character interactions aren't terribly written. I think I chuckled like twice, but they're still not that good, and are often interrupted by lines of exposition for the kids. It doesn't really help that all of these characters are pretty one note, including the main ones. In the first 20 minutes, they try to give us a reason to care about them, but that doesn't work because of the movie's pretty fast pacing. Yeah, this movie definitely has a pacing problem. It's pretty fast for the first 20 minutes, then slow, then fast again for the last 20 minutes. The fast pacing kind of works during the climax, because that's when we're seeing all the cool action, but during the beginning, definitely not, because that's when they're introducing the characters we're supposed to care about. The characters themselves are just bland, and they don't bring anything new to the table. As for the side characters slash comic reliefs, they don't bring much to the table either, but they're probably the most enjoyable characters in the movie, even if they don't serve a purpose to the plot and could have been rewritten out as well. Their designs are also pretty generic, which is an overall problem with the animation. For an animated film not from a major studio, this is pretty top tier stuff. The color palette is nice and the character animation is pretty smooth, which helps because there are many different types of aliens in this film. But the design on the characters and the backgrounds is really simplistic. The alien designs are really generic and all the human characters look like scrap character designs from a Despicable Me movie. The designs are mediocre at best on their own, but they lack originality and it doesn't make the animation look all that great. All the weapons and the alien technology is pretty nice to look at, but it's also really generic. But the end product is overall decent because unlike something like Norm of the North or Alpha and Omega, they gave it more rendering hours than Zero. But back onto the characters, another problem I have with them is their development. It's probably due to the movie's weird pacing, but the characters are one way in one scene and then they're another way in the next. It feels like there were a lot of scenes cut out of this film, and I think if they were put in, it could have improved it a little if they cut out the alien planet subplot. This gives the film a feeling of uselessness because it feels like the characters never evolved or learned anything throughout the film. Their characters are basically the same as they were at the start of the film, and the film failed to make me care about them. So overall, Escape from Planet Earth is a really bad movie that you have no reason to check out. It has a few positives, like the animation is pretty good, and there are a couple good voice performances in here, but it's overshadowed by clunky story, generic designs, unlikable characters, and really weird pacing. I'm gonna give Escape from Planet Earth a 3 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, comment your thoughts on the movie down below, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.